thought it was a redemptive Sunday, Fred. Not just fixing what you didn't do a week ago, but within the game. Guys made glaring mistakes and then had big plays later, whether it's Tyson Campbell, who I don't know if it was just a coverage bust, but lets Nico go and then forces a turnover, had great coverage later. Trevor throws my God, you can't throw that interception, then turns around. He has the run to keep the drive alive. He audibles to the Brian Thomas play. They hit that and they win. Brian Thomas Jr. can't catch Cole the whole game and then makes the play when it matters. So I think redemption be kind of a buzzword for what we saw yesterday.
I mean, if you're watching the movie, that's exactly how it looked. I think throughout the course of the game, the guys are just playing and want to make plays. And sometimes, you make the play, and sometimes, unfortunately, for fans of you, sometimes you don't make the play. And, the theme has been, Brian Thomas, he's dropping balls. And it kind of carried on to yesterday's game. And then you can kind of see him venting and being frustrated. And then when he makes a catch, he's like, yeah, I know I got it. But all in all, I think all of those guys, what we saw was a sample size of the redeemed team. Coming back from last week and having multiple penalties, having certain plays and key moments that triggered that loss. They avoided it yesterday. They were able to find ways to make plays when it really counted. In the NFL, you need to do that. You need to have those moments. You look across the league, they flashed the graphic up yesterday. I think we had there was a record, most games in the first 2 weeks of the season decided by a touchdown or less. You got to find a way to make a play in crunch time. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to complain otherwise. You're going to go back, watch the film, and say, damn, we could have done this or we should have done this, and it still equates to a loss. And then there are half the teams in the league that say, man, we got away with one because we made a play. How do you think Cincy's waking up this morning after that blowout? They played a good game the prior week against the Jags and made enough plays to get a win, got enough calls as well to get a win. Yesterday, they like that. Maybe we aren't as good as we thought we were. Now it's back to the drawing board. But the Jags are better than a year ago. They made the right plays at the right moments. They got a good test coming up versus the Niners. So we'll see where they are as the season continues to build.
Interesting. You said, and I think we all agree, the Jags are a better football team than they were a year ago. And proof yesterday by winning a one-score game, winning a close game. That's something that they just simply could not do. Can a game like yesterday, can it change everything, or is it just one game in a long, long season?
I mean, I think it's just one game in a long season because, again, going back to the previous week, coming away from that game, maybe some of the mindsets were, damn, we're still that same team. Mm-hmm. A lot of us saw this same movie a year ago where we were close, but we weren't, close enough. We weren't good enough. And that could have been some of the mindset a week ago. But today or from yesterday, maybe coming away from that game, some of the guys are like, all right, we are better. We got a shot. But I think they still want to go week to week and just kind of scale up and see, really where they are. The good thing is there is some new energy in the room. I believe you have a different set of leaders, a different set of leadership in the locker room. Guys really like each other. Mm-hmm. The environment is good. It's a new season, new environment, so they're going to find ways to stick together. It's hard to stick together when you're losing. But when you have a shot, it's easier to come to work and say, okay, I believe in this guy, I believe in that guy. And that was a lot of the chatter after the game yesterday. They got to just stick with it.
Right. What do you make of Brian Thomas Jr. and the struggles he's had early this season? I think in 3 games he's, what do we say, 7 catches for 115 yards. But the drops, it's just we thought it was going to get better yesterday, then it got worse.
Well,
so
you know what?
Yeah.
And let's be fair here in the evaluation. It's not just the drops. I mean, we stopped on a ball across the middle that led to a pick. We're completely out of sync in knowing what the play is with our quarterback. It looked like, at least in the fourth quarter yesterday. It's just there's a lot going on there with Brian Thomas Jr. Fred.
Yeah.
Is that fair?
Yeah. No, I think that's fair in your assessment. Even I think when you look at the drops, like, all right, the drops are the drops. Like, receivers have moments where they go through, bouts of the drops, right? And or the drop bug, as Coach Cohen called it. And he has that. But again, like NBA guys, shooters got to shoot. Like, you can be in a slump, but you can shoot your way out of it. He just got to continue to get targets and secure those targets. The other part is what I have an issue with: running off the ball, not knowing if it's a pass versus run.
Mm-hmm.
It seems he was about to go out and stalk block as opposed to run a hitch, simple 5-yard hitch, a winnable route that Trevor threw it obviously in the dirt because Brian ran away as if he was going to run block, and that could have easily been intercepted if the DB had reacted to the route as opposed to Brian. So his head isn't completely in the game, and some of it could stem from, some of the drops that he's focused on. Who knows? But he has to look at the film and find a way to dig back in and refocus because more than anything, he has to realize now with a sense of urgency, his teammates need him. They need him to perform. They need him to show up. On our podcast, he said, look, I'm going to show people I can be a leader. That's my new role, to be a vocal leader, to lead by example. So to by example means I'm all the way in and I'm focused and I'm not having to bust. You're doing one bust here and there, but you can't have a game where you're messing up multiple times. That's just not acceptable.
Fred, Trevor said after the game they're not going to get bullied anymore. Said he didn't say maybe in the past, but that's kind of that was sort of implied, like, okay, and he said, look, we're just not going to take that anymore, and we don't like our divisional opponents. I kind of like that comment from our quarterback. What say you?
Yeah, I mean, that was a team that put him to sleep a year ago. So, I mean, now he's making the right comments, but you look at the locker room, you have to identify what your standard is. And he set the tone with that statement in that, look, these divisional games, we've been through this, but we've seen enough, and enough is enough. So, as long as the other guys are going to say, well, sheesh, man, if this is our quarterback making these sort of comments, we got to have his back.
Right.
We got to be there. Because usually those are defenders, defensive guys making the comments, or, a badass running back like myself. I'll give you a little bulletin board material.
Well, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Come and take your best shot or whatever. But to hear it coming from Sunshine, man, is big. So now everybody got to, come up and make sure that's the tone and the mindset each and every week for the duration of the season.
Fred, how do you watch Travis Hunter in a game? Do you find yourself watching him specifically isolated and see how he's doing, or do you just kind of encapsulate what he's done within the framework of the game? And I guess I asked that because I was curious to ask you your opinion on him, but I don't know how, single-minded we can be when you're watching, the entirety of the All-22.
I mean, he's, respectfully, I say right now, he's just a guy.
Yeah.
And, in the NFL, you have to earn everything. You have to earn it week to week. And we're going to continue to get sample sizes. Eventually, we'll see some breakout moments for Travis. You look at that short catch that he made yesterday, and he was able to turn upfield and turn it from a 5-yard reception to a 20-yard reception. And he'll have those moments. But the way I watch him is, I see him when I see him. I'm not going to dial in every single play. Travis is on the field. Okay, I got to watch Travis. No, I like to watch the entire offense. When they're out there, I like to see the concepts. I like to look at what the defense coverage is in so I can kind of try to guess if it's run pass and what potential, pass play concept it might be. Based on the coverage, I know where they want to attack. Once the ball is snapped. And then if I see Travis, then I see Travis. On the defensive side, I think I probably look for him more on defense than offense because I want to see his technique. I want to see if they're attacking him. I just watch the game. I don't just go out there and just completely look for number 12 every snap. If he comes across my line of sight, then
that's me. That's like most of us then. Yeah. All right, Fred, just thoughts on the opportunity that the Jags have coming up this week at San Francisco, and if you could offer the athletes reasoning behind why it's so hard to win when you go all the way out west. I mean, the Jags have never won in San Francisco. They've never won a ton of games out west, period, in the Pacific time zone. So I know we haven't always had the most talented team, but in general, how tough is it to make those types of trips?
I think the only West Coast game I played in was versus the Chargers, and we got our doors blown off. Jack Del Rio era. And I never played in San Fran. I never played in Seattle. I played in Arizona, and I played in San Diego, was the furthest west I had gone. I don't know. I think we beat Arizona, but we lost to the Chargers. It's got to play it. It's really another game. Yeah. I think all that other stuff is kind of just stuff, excuses.
Right.
The game is the game. You do what it takes to get your rest and be prepared, and it's the build up. It's hard to really find an answer, man. Because it really comes across as an excuse, and I don't want to make those. Yeah. You're either gonna go and win or you're gonna go and lose. What's the reasoning for winning, right?
Right.
If you ask that question the other way, so. No excuses. This team know what's at stake. They know they'll probably see Brock Purdy after Mac Jones went down. He re-aggravated a PCL injury that he had. So you'll have Brock Purdy back. We don't know if we'll have Jennings back, if they'll have Jennings back. It's a good San Fran team. Kittle won't be there. But it's a good San Fran team, but it's not the San Fran of old. I know what they're made of. I know the mindset of their head coach. I know their GM. We all know John Lynch is hard-nosed, so they want to be physical. They want to try to be the San Fran team that they built over the years, but they're not that. I think they've had their run. Their window is closing, and Jacksonville has an opportunity. So this team should not go out there and put them on a pedestal before you touch the field and make them something that they're not. They're just a team right now. They're not dominant as they were
Lost Bosa yesterday,
4 years ago. Yeah, so, Jacksonville has a chance to go out there and get a win and come back to Jacksonville just before a big Monday night matchup with a team who still isn't the team of old, but they're an NFL team. You can't sleep on them. But it's your shot. They got to take the shot. They got to prep, have a good, solid week of prep. Diami has to get back out there because he's a big piece of the offense, so we'll kind of evaluate his injury and see where he is, I believe. And Travis Hunter, we'll see if he's going to get more involved, if Diami cannot go. And the other guys got to step up. They got to make the plays when they're supposed to make the plays.
Leon Searcy here. Thank you so much for watching 1010XL Jaguars on YouTube. Before you click away, please subscribe to the videos on the channel and be sure to check out our other team-specific channels on 1010XL Network on YouTube.